African Dad, European Dad, and American Dad. Hi, welcome to Fourth Arm. This video is a case study that compares the leadership styles of African leaders with those of European and American leaders. It aims to highlight some of the reasons why citizens of less developed nations may believe that their country's lack of progress is due to deliberate actions by their leaders. The video uses the metaphor of African Dad, European Dad, and US Dad to represent the political class, and children to represent the citizens. Furthermore, we will raise the question of whether some leaders may actively suppress their own people. The development of a country is based on a variety of factors, some of which include a strong leadership, strong economy, a clear vision and mission, and a dedicated and skilled workforce. A good leadership is mainly responsible for setting the direction and tone for the government, and for making key decisions that will shape its future. This is why it's very crucial to have a good leader. Development of a nation is an intentional act. No nation accidentally develops. A country should not just wish to be great, but must have a plan of action and must execute the master plan to succeed. A country's economy will remain stagnant or regress if the leader's direction of action is not in tandem with set goals. A leader determines the success or failure of his nation. The key to better the life of the masses is in the genuine desire of the leader to have the people's interest unabated. Now we will discuss comparison between US, Europe, Africans Dad, and will explain the reason behind them. Africa Dad have uncontrolled births, unlike Europe, US. One reason could be a lack of access to family planning resources and education. In many African countries, access to birth control and family planning services is limited, and cultural and religious beliefs may also play a role in discouraging the use of these resources. Also, Africa Dad is rich in natural resources, but lacks creativity, while Europe and US dads are endowed in creativity. Africa being rich in natural resources is due to its vast landmass and diverse geography, which includes deserts, savannas, rainforests, and mountains. This diversity of landscapes has led to a wide range of natural resources, including minerals, oil and gas, and fertile land for agriculture. One main reason they lack creativity is lack of investment in education, research, and development. On the other hand, Europe and the US Dad have a long history of technological innovation and industrialization. They have invested heavily in research and development, which has led to advancements in areas such as medicine, transportation, and communication. This has helped them to become major players in the technology and innovation industry. Europe and US Dad's society improvement is consistent, unlike Africa growth. A stable political environment with a transparent and accountable government is necessary for a country to attract foreign investments and to create a conducive environment for businesses and social development to thrive. Additionally, the high level of corruption and lack of accountability in some African countries can also impede social progress. Africa Dad cannot feed his people. There are a variety of reasons why Africa may struggle with food security, while Europe and the US have more abundance. One reason could be a lack of investment in agriculture and food production. In many African countries, the government may not have the resources or the will to invest in infrastructure and technology that can improve crop yields and increase food production. Additionally, the lack of education and training for farmers can also limit their ability to produce enough food to feed their communities. These above are one of the main reasons why Europe has better economy and more developed than Africans. Leaders of less developed countries may be more focused on emulating the lifestyles and privileges of leaders in developed countries, rather than addressing the needs and concerns of their own citizens. They may not prioritize the implementation of social programs and benefits that can improve the lives of their citizens, such as education, healthcare, and housing. Instead, they may be more focused on replicating the luxurious lifestyles and perks enjoyed by leaders in developed countries, such as fancy homes, cars, and other luxuries. We have concluded this by following observations. Europe and US Dads provide public sector housing and implement housing benefit schemes to assist low-income citizens, while leaders in Africa neglect to provide affordable housing options and fail to implement similar programs for their own citizens. European and American leaders prioritize access to well-equipped medical facilities for their citizens, while African leaders prioritize their own access to medical care and neglect to address the inadequate healthcare and high medical costs faced by their citizens. European and American leaders ensure that wages paid to their citizens provide a comfortable lifestyle and also set appropriate salaries and allowances for themselves, while African leaders approve excessive wages and allowances for themselves and neglect to address the issue of low wages and poor living standards for their citizens. European and American leaders promptly pay pensions to their retired citizens and even to those who have worked in Europe and America, but returned to Africa. However, many African citizens do not receive their pensions and suffer in poverty, while African leaders empower themselves with excessive pension packages that strain the state budget. European and American leaders devote funds for the safety of life and property of their citizens for both home and abroad. Furthermore, ensure immediate law enforcement officers' response to crime scene. Africa leaders are more concerned about protecting their own lives with bulletproof cars and security personnel, but ignored the various threat to life of his citizen. European and American leaders provide first-class roads and compensation schemes for damage caused by potholes to citizens' vehicles, and enforce vehicle licensing and MO2 regulations for road upkeep. In contrast, African leaders prioritize enforcing vehicle licensing and MO2 regulations for their citizens, but neglect to improve the condition of the roads. African leaders have consistently neglected their educational system, resulting in a lack of opportunities and a poor quality of education for their citizens. Additionally, they have destroyed the value of their currency through poor economic policies, abandoned their commerce and industries, and enslaved their citizens through oppressive policies and practices. Furthermore, African leaders have been known to mercilessly kill their own people, leading their citizens into economic and social ruin. The citizens of Africa face unimaginable hardships, while leaders in Europe and the US consistently strive to improve the lives of their citizens through policies that focus on education, economic growth, and social development. In short, African leaders have failed at every point in their duty to provide for their citizens, while leaders in Europe and the US have been successful in creating opportunities and improving the lives of their citizens. Leaders in Europe and the US pride themselves on their integrity, honesty, and dignity, while African leaders have been known for looting, intimidation, and arrogance in their approach to governance. Unfortunately, the easiest way to become wealthy in Africa is to become an African leader. Since the era of independence, African leaders have acquired wealth worth over $2 trillion from their nation's treasury and have saved it in banks in Europe and the US. This is a clear indication of the lack of ethical and moral values held by many African leaders, who prioritize their own personal gain over the well-being of their citizens and the development of their country. This type of corruption and mismanagement of resources has led to a lack of economic growth, poor living conditions, and a lack of opportunities for the citizens of Africa. It is imperative that steps are taken to address these issues and hold African leaders accountable for their actions. The citizens cry out in despair, questioning the actions of their leaders. Why are we treated so unjustly? When will our needs be put before those of our leaders? When will these struggles come to an end? The pain and suffering is overwhelming. It feels as if there is no hope. Who will come to our aid? Who will be our savior? Who will bring us freedom? The cries of the people echo through the land, their pleas for justice and change falling on deaf ears. The sense of helplessness and abandonment is palpable as they look towards their leaders for answers. We urge African leaders to take action and prioritize the well-being of their citizens. The time to make a change is now. By focusing on the needs of the people and implementing policies that benefit them, a brighter future for all can be achieved. We urge Africa dads to take the necessary steps to improve the lives of their children, create a stable economy, and provide access to quality education, healthcare, and affordable housing. Remember, a nation's progress is measured by the prosperity and happiness of its people. Let us work together to make that a reality. Stay tuned for the next video on Born 6 Hours Apart Could Determine a Child's Future. It will be an interesting and enlightening discussion, so be sure to tune in. Thanks for watching till the end. What do you think about the video? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe.